So who's going to be the joker in the pack? Who's going to be the ace on the track? Every ticket sold, every vantage point is taken, and there are plenty of them here in the high-rise Lion City that is Singapore, which is about to roar into the life for the next 2 hours. 5 red lights, 5 title contenders with 5 races to go, and Alonso's surge is clear. Vettel alongside, Hamilton hasn't got the jump, but Button has on the inside of his teammates. Alonso leads, back comes Hamilton though, into the first corner. Hamilton third, Button fourth, Webber fifth. It's as per the grid so far, as they wend their way through these early corners in Singapore.
The red lights were on for a very long time. They can be on between 4 and 7 seconds. It felt a long time, and almost caught, I think, Fernando Alonso out. A bit of contact on the exit of 5 there as they head down to the braking zone of turn 7.
Crucial for Alonso to get ahead, and Hamilton hasn't got the jump that he wanted. A little bit of a lock up there for Rosberg as Barrichello harries Kubica as they go through these early corners in this first sector.
Yes, Barrichello's dropped down 2 places, Kubica up to 7th.
Michael Schumacher just behind him. Vettel confident of race pace, likewise Alonso. Early stages, very, very significant. Through the chicane for the first time at turn 10.
I wonder what they'll do with... Oh, we got damage there right front. Nick Heidfeld just coming back to Grand Prix races. It's his first start this season, and it looks like he's made contact with somebody.
It's Liuzzi.
His right rear track rod's broken, and that's trying to steer the car from the back. He's having to turn in just to go straight, turn the steering wheel just to go straight. They have deployed the safety car. That'll be some furious recalculation going on. What have we got going on here? This will be Heidfeld's contact. Okay, so kind of minding his business really, and got a thump up the right rear. Oh, he's got wide through 7. Right, so okay, so he's had contact already, and now I think he gets a wallop as well for good measure. Webber pits then for Red Bull, so they've gone for that strategy. He was a 5th of the 5 championship contenders. Well, what kind of... They're all coming in now, so as they're coming past our window, it sounds like only showing Webber. Now Petrov pits as well. So how's this going to work out for Mark Webber?
Right, there's the line, safety car line 1. They can start straight away, and the charge begins. Alonso, Vettel, Hamilton, Button, Rosberg, Kubica, Barrichello, Schumacher, Kobayashi, Glock, and Mark Webber in 11th, the championship leader. How soon will he be able to make his mark? Here comes Mark Webber. We're with him now.
Contact ahead, which is Kobayashi and Schumacher trying to get together. Three cars ahead there. So Webber has got Timo Glock, who I don't think will put up too much of a fight. There's no point, and he doesn't.
Through then into the top 10 for Webber. Next up, Kobayashi.
There's Schumacher now on the back of Barrichello.
Let's watch Webber though, because this is where he was sizing up Glock the lap before, and he made a move stick. It's absolutely crucial for his race. Has to make as much time up as possible. He's trying now on the outside, trying through on the inside and coming through.
Oh, he's gone wide, he's gone a little bit wide. Can he keep it together? Yes, he does. But has he got enough speed coming off the corner?
He has. Nice move there.
He'll have to stay left. He'll have to stay left.
Keeping it at the moment, keeping it steady, and well executed it would seem. Yes, he's still holding it together. Kobayashi has been caught.
Contact behind. Petrov getting together with probably Hülkenberg, I think it was. So that worked. That's an important move for Mark Webber. Kobayashi got out of shape in turn 3. Comes left to cover Webber. Webber's got the greater momentum, and that's a brave move for a man who's leading the World Championship. Makes it stick. Well done. And here's the contact then between Hülkenberg and Petrov, which is why Petrov, I would think the stewards may want to have a look at that, but well, he's up the inside, just runs out of space.
Oh, here comes Webber and Schumacher. They're wheel to wheel. He's done it here against Kobayashi, holding it together now. He's managed to push the 7-time world champion behind him, and he's through. Webber makes a telling move, now up into 8th place.
Good stuff, so that gets him ahead of one of the non-stoppers.
I suppose like a football team, you can only beat what's in front of you. He's just got to keep concentrating what's ahead, do that, and then concentrate on the next man.
Carbon copy then. Michael made the same mistake as Kobayashi, and Webber knew exactly how to play that one, and they had to cope with a back marker for good measure. But Mark's rehearsed that one and did it faultlessly a second time.
How is the car, Sebastian? How is the car?
Drives good, but I'm not pushing at all. Not pushing.
Understood. Thank you.
That's what they want to hear, isn't it?
Like
I'm not pushing, but he's just set the fastest lap of the race.
Yeah.
Now that is telling, isn't it?
Yeah. It's very interesting, actually. It sounded like just like a polite telephone call, didn't it? It's quite a gritty surface there that gives them a lot of traction as they leave.
That looked very swift. That looked very impressive. Just how McLaren would have wanted it. Let's see what time that was. The watch is going to stay on.
So he's behind
Mark
Webber then.
He's
lost
behind
heavily to Mark Webber.
Alonso is stopping, and so is Vettel.
Well, I really thought Vettel would go longer, but they don't want to lose the undercut if the new tyres are quicker. But I really thought he would nail 2 or 3 really banzai ones in, see if he can get the job done. Oh, is that a problem? Oh, he just got away with it. Looks like it kicked into anti-stall, and Vettel away.
Now what happened here? This is Schumacher being caught by Kobayashi coming through, and there's a bit of contact there, was there? Oh, will the stewards need to look at that again?
Touch reckless, wasn't it?
As Alonso sets the fastest lap, matched again by Vettel, who's taken almost half a second off. Look at him now, you can see on the road as well. That Red Bull is right behind Alonso, and there's a back marker in the way as well. This could be crucial. Alonso's passed, Vettel is through, but the chase is on, the hunt is on. Thought he should have been on pole. Yes, the front row, almost a formality, but he wanted pole, but now this is key. This is the race.
Just check that we're not sure if the car's okay or not, so don't commit.
Oh, there's a problem there with, it looked like Kobayashi was it? Had he got into the wall? And there are 2 cars collected. This could be a safety car as well.
It could be another one in there yet. They need to be careful, and it will guaranteed to be a safety car, which has been deployed.
Yep, straight out.
So Kobayashi having his own incident, and then gets run into by Bruno Senna, who obviously wasn't paying enough attention. Massa nearly follows them in.
And the safety car is in, and away we go. Unleashed once more after the second safety car. Alonso from Vettel, and here comes Webber trying to come through, and he manages to skip past one of the Virgin cars. He's got still to get through past De Grassi, and there comes Lewis Hamilton. No holding him either. Needs to keep on the tail.
They're obliged to get out of the way. They're being blue flagged, so that car should not be in front of Mark Webber at this stage, and that puts Lewis Hamilton right on his tail.
Here comes Webber though, he's got past De Grassi. This time here comes Hamilton on the inside. Hamilton versus Webber. They're down into the corner, and has Hamilton managed to get through? Webber has the inside line. Is they going to come together? Yes they have. Yes they have. But Webber's carried on. Hamilton, is he damaged?
He certainly passed.
Jenson Button's through on the inside as well as Lewis Hamilton, who's struggling, and Hamilton looks as if he's going off, is he? Hamilton looks to be stopping. He had the line there. Yes he is. Hamilton has stopped. For the second race running, Lewis Hamilton is out of the race before the finish, and it's no points in the championship.
Yeah, so he gets in the slip. Hamilton gets in the slipstream. Mark Webber leaves him enough space on the inside, leaves him a lot of space. In fact, it's very generous. And Lewis, he hit the back of him though, didn't he? Mark certainly had the inside line. Lewis was ahead, but Mark was never going to be able to slow down. If you close a man's braking zone off like that, he can't vanish. That's a tough one for the stewards. I really can't see how they can punish Mark for that.
And this is Michael Schumacher, who's got problems. Oh, the front wing end plate's off, and that is Nick Heidfeld. That's Nick Heidfeld's Sauber.
Down into 7 again. That's where Hamilton and Webber just got it together.
Just been into the Ferrari garage where they say that Alonso is on absolutely full revs and everything, full revs, the most that they can give him. They're telling him to push like crazy because Vettel is behind you and very, very quick. Well, obviously catching him is one thing, but getting past is another, and Fernando Alonso does have track position, of course, because of the pit stop.
Kubica pits out of 6th place. That's out of sync.
The harder tyre goes on once more. The Renault-engined Red Bull of Sebastian Vettel, 9/10 behind Fernando Alonso. 15 laps remaining, and this relentless pace will continue now right to the end of this race.
Buemi very, very slow, but there's nowhere to go now for Kubica. Let's follow the leader through here. He might have a run into the braking zone just over the end of the Anderson Bridge, but Buemi goes defensive. Kubica should surely get a better drive off there and into the slipstream. This might get the job done.
Coming through on the inside, and Buemi having to brake, and Kubica coming through. There was no way he wasn't going to muscle his way past. Job done. Next up his teammate. Is it going to be Alonso winning? Second race win in a row, Monza and then Singapore? Or is Sebastian Vettel going to score his first victory since Europe and come through? And that would be crucial for him.
What's interesting, if Alonso wins this race, to win at the high-speed circuit layout of Monza and then to come here and win pole position in both races, it tells you the Ferrari is an all-round great car.
This is Kubica versus Petrov, and Kubica looks to have got through. There was no way that Petrov was going to block him there, and it's going to be the 10th place for the senior Renault driver, the man who's got by far the majority of points.
Look at Kubica all over Massa straight away, and Massa of course has been on those tyres since the end of lap 1, hasn't he?
Okay, Massa's tyres are 50 laps old. Let's have a go at him.
And there's the response. Yep, I'll have that one as well. So Kubica on the fresh rubber straight past Felipe Massa, now up into 9th place. He said he didn't want to finish 12th. Well, next up then Nico Hülkenberg.
Okay, about 8 laps to go, 8 laps to go. Both the cars ahead are also on very old tyres.
Well, it worked last time, didn't it? That message. I think it's about to work again.
Here he comes on the inside of Hülkenberg, and is Hülkenberg going to give way? Yes, he is. Didn't want to, but there was no real option. Kubica was coming through just as he was on Buemi and Petrov and Massa, and next up Sutil. He was one of the early stoppers, was Adrian Sutil, changed to the harder tyre, and look at the way he's closed up Robert Kubica. Waiting for his moment. We've seen this before. He's having a look now down towards turn 7, going around the outside, and he's pulled it off. What a move by Robert Kubica. Take that, Adrian Sutil.
Sebastian Vettel, who has been looking after his brakes in the last 10 or so laps, which is why we haven't seen any kind of desperate lunges and closing up towards Fernando Alonso. Ferrari are in a state of absolute high tension in the garage where I've just been in there, and every time the Alonso's mechanic hangs out his pit board, he shakes it as in willing him to stay ahead of him. But of course they will probably know that Red Bull are fighting their own problems, and I can see some discussions on the Red Bull pit wall. You know, how are the brakes going as the engine? It all seems like they've just been calming it down at the moment in preparation for a last few minute push. But as we've always said, Alonso has track position, and that counts for a lot.
Vettel quickest of anyone through that first sector, right behind. Kovalainen needs to steer clear as Vettel closes once more on Fernando Alonso. Well, if this is the final push, let's see how Red Bull and Ferrari stack up around this high downforce track.
Closest yet, I think, for Vettel on Alonso.
Remember, focus on entry, clean exit.
Bit of a driving lesson there from Rocky. You can see where he's just beginning maybe to take a touch too much speed into the corner as Alonso does a new fastest lap of the race.
Alonso won in Monza, and now here he is in sight of what would be his second victory in 3 years in Singapore. This has been a supreme, sublime drive if he can stay out in front. He's led all the way from pole position.
And what have we got going on here? Buemi versus Kovalainen.
There was a little bit of a touch there for, was that Buemi catching Kovalainen? That's a Cosworth engine, is it?
He's near the pit entry.
No oil on the road either. Oh, what's he doing there? He's trying to carry on.
Well, there's only one more lap to go, but I don't think that will go down at all well.
There's oil all sorts on the track.
He probably has been told to stay out and just try and get to the end of the race, but I don't think they saw the bonfire.
I mean, there was track position, of course, to go for as well, but even so, that's a ferocious sight, and you don't often see that either, a driver becoming a marshal almost.
Yeah, they're doing about 150 miles an hour as they pass by there.
Look at this, Vettel behind Alonso. While that's all been going on here on the final lap, we're watching Vettel right up behind Fernando Alonso, and this could be absolutely gripping just the final few metres.
Alonso's car looked a bit of a handful through the right-hander there. It's almost as if his tyres just giving up a little bit. And traffic ahead as well. It's reasonably quick traffic they've got. Just 0.2 of a second separated them on the previous lap.
Whatever went wrong, he dropped about 0.6 of a second, and now he's got Sebastian Vettel. Will be all out now. Can he somehow harry Alonso into a mistake? Jenson Button's eased off behind Mark Webber, but there'll be no holding Sebastian Vettel, with all sorts of the back markers now really going to confuse the situation as he goes through the chicane for the final time. There's a Renault up ahead.
Yeah, and it's
Petrov, Massa,
Hulkenberg. I mean, they're reasonably fast cars, so then you know, you're not just going to turn up and breeze past, that's for sure. Petrov gets out of the way, presumably Massa will too. It's pretty handy for Alonso that it's his teammate who's next in line. But
there's a real train there, isn't there, though, Martin? Look at that. You've got Hulkenberg and Sutil.
There'll be no overtaking in the final corner though, because the yellows are out, of course, for the Lotus sitting there. But
just how close he is. That's the closest he's ever been.
I think he's got it under control.
Looks like it under the grandstand through the ridge for the final time. Back markers just ahead, but the checkered flag is also waiting for Fernando Alonso. He was a winner in Monza 2 weeks ago from pole, and as he rounds the final corner, the man of the moment has the momentum as well for the championship. It's another win for Alonso. Ferrari win again. Sebastian Vettel picks up the big points. In second, he's held him at bay. It's been a relentless race for 2 hours, and Fernando Alonso, from pole to flag, has set the standard again. We need to see where Mark Webber is, championship leader. He will maintain this championship lead because Lewis Hamilton is out of the race, and there he is. Mark Webber continues in the lead in the championship. Jenson Button into fourth, so at least one McLaren picks up points, but it's a Red Bull double podium. You can't believe it, really, can you? This is one of the longest seasons ever in Formula One. 19 races, and here we are, race 15 with 4 to go, and still there's little to choose between the 5 leading contenders. Webber, Alonso, Hamilton, Vettel, Button, they're all within 1 victory of each other.
Race was tough, race was long, and with the safety car problems, and also the people we were lapping, especially at the end, we found a group of 5 cars that they lost 1 lap, and it was difficult to lap them. It was yellow flag on the straight because the Lotus problem, the car on fire, so we could not overtake there. So it was difficult to manage the gap with the guys in front, not to overtake under the yellow or anything like that. So a lot of precaution in the last couple of laps, taking very easy. We know how difficult it is to overtake here, so I just controlled the gap with Sebastian as much as I could, and not taking any risk.